Okay, now we are live. And my MPC 1974 for the Econoline is now being underway and processed being built. Anyhow, I'm going to flip the camera over. And here we go. Try to get it all positioned for you so you can actually see. As you can tell, I did the... actually, this is for the Skylight. It should be dry by now. Just kind of making sure I put this in before I do anything else. Also giving you a quick update. I already started doing the interior. Of course, this is a 1970s throwback. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to carefully put this in here. And this is going to be fun. It'll be like wrestling an alligator. Kinda, sorta. So, what I'm going to do is gradually get it in there very carefully without... There we go. We got one down to snap, two down to snap, and there's that one little corner which will have to get snapped into place as... Ow! So, let me just make sure it's in all the way, and I'll continue on with... It's as good as I can get it. Just clean it up a little bit, just to give you an idea. Now we have the Skylight put into the van. It's not too bad, but as you can tell, where the... Whoops, I don't want to do that. There you have it, the Skylight in the van, the frame. Now, just to make sure everything is hokey-dory, we now can actually start beginning the actual van process of putting the Skylight. Actually, the main Skylight piece will be after the assembly, and now we can start putting in the sunroof, or better yet, this last piece of the interior. So what I'm going to do, carefully, which is kind of not really going without saying, very little effort. I can use that, or I can use good old crazy glue. Let me see if this even still works. Damn, I really fucked my hand up. Yeah, okay, good. That's good. It works. So now I'm going to start applying the crazy glue to the interior wall. Do you feel exactly where it's going to go? I normally don't usually use crazy glue for interior walls, but because I metal flaked all this and getting it all in and sealed, I show you a picture how to do it, but I would have to kind of show you a perspective of exactly where it's all going to go. What I'm doing pretty much is I'm going to get all up in the crease. I want to make sure I get all of this as much as I possibly can. Laying up all that crazy glue. Giving it the proper sealing. With that being said, now we just put this along the side here. Carefully inserting so we don't get any other unwanted issues or anything else that's going to come abroad later on in the process. However, the side of this, I won't be able to help very much because you got to make sure that this sits in very nice. Going to let that dry, so you're not going to touch this particular setup. As you can tell, I use crazy glue along the seam here by the video here. Now I'm going to let that dry. It's always important to let this stuff dry up. So that's two things down for the 74 Ford Econoline. Now, everything else, the rest of the van is actually all set. So, now, I'm going to let that sit before I do anything else to this van. The side windows I will do in a little bit. I want to make sure this is set. and not too much of a problem later on. Of course, everybody knows the fun part is when you have to get this freaking interior together. Of course, on the top, I'm doing a different color for the floodlights. Well, I guess I could start, if I can find them, I guess I could start doing the grabbing in the interior of the door. Paint those while the rest of the kit is actually being done, or being dried. Now, here we go with the man's best friend and model builder's best friend, which these are slightly worn over the years of using various plastics, but they do get the job done. We snip these off the parts tree like so. Now let's see, these do have to get cleaned up, but right now I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm getting them together, starting to get at least some work done. Now, as you're seeing, there's only going to be 3 sections now, which is going to be good, but I'm more going to look at the main parts where I snipped off from the parts tree. Everything else that's the excess sprue, as I'll get to in a bit, is going to be actually sanded down. I would shave it off with the X-Acto blade, but I don't want to ruin the detail. So I'm just taking off the excess sprue on the bottom where I cut from the parts tree, and I'm just going to do it like so. Alright, so I gotta just sand that down. No big deal. Which, this will work. To get the excess sprue, as you can tell, right over in here. If I can help show it a little bit better. If you can look at the photo, there's that excess sprue like up on the top and on the doors. All 4 of them have them. But, you know, that's not too much of a big deal. Nice little clean down, so at least we don't take out the detail as much. I mean, it's nearing the end of this kit. Building it and getting it together will be kind of fun. Just sanding down the excess plastic that's really not necessary for a kit like this. And kind of getting it to where it's smooth. Always make sure when you sand, you always make sure you smooth it down where there's no bumps or anything. You know, especially when you're fitting up an old retro kit for the MPC 1974 Ford Econoline kits. You ever buy them, you're just going to have to do a little bit of modifications. The older MPC kits were actually very difficult to work with, and at times could have been the problem. But under all the circumstances, I think when you get done and you do it right, it'll be done. It'll be built up right. I really wouldn't recommend trying to do anything else other than, you know, building it up directly. I usually am holding on to these doors later, just saying them down, but holding on to them later until my later installment onto the van doors, so nothing gets broken or destroyed. And the reason for that is because MPC made the scaling so bad on these kits that it was not very nice of them to do. Which I still think that they should have retooled this kit before they even released it, in my personal opinion. You know, building these for a very long time and knowing exactly what fits, what don't fit, is something I don't normally like to do. I don't like customizing very much, but sometimes it is necessary. Of course, as you can tell by the blade, this has been heated up several times to actually make the workable steering on the Ford Econoline kit and a few other model kits that I've actually had done in the past. But this is not really a show. This is not a contest kit I'm doing. This is actually something I'm building on my own free time. The next one, however, will be more of an hour-long video of a 25th anniversary Countach kit. Right now, that's not going to be... I'm not really thinking of it as a priority at the moment. But I will be holding a very special setup, or a very special thing, where one kit will be built. But I am going to hold it as a contest, which will, well, not really a contest, but it'll be for sale. I'll be flipping models and building them. And when it gets closer to that time, I will give you the name of the account I have, where I'm selling it off of, and you can check out my inventory, my crafting. But for now, I'm not doing any of that because I'm still in the process of cleaning this out. And the reason why I blow onto the plastic a lot like this is because when you have plastic dust after sanding, it always is helpful. For me it is. I've found it very helpful to actually do this sort of thing, you know, this sort of cleaning, and try to make this all like a restorative vintage 70s van vibe. So yeah, this is pretty much what it is. And in my last video is like a title called American Vintage. The American Vintage vehicle videos I've actually done are based off of what I'm doing. But as you can see, I'm actually cleaning off the excess plastic, which I'm generally not very happy about. Like I said, the tooling, they need to redo the tooling on these remake kits, these production kits, and I just lost the door. Well, accidentally. So yeah, that's pretty much just what's going on. And if I can get to the stupid thing, and here we go. Saved it. It flew out of my hands, but you know what? It's getting cleaned up. And I need to sand it down again. Actually, at times too, I actually do these things for auctions. Last year, I actually did a diorama of a train. I based it off an old train station here in Connecticut. Went off on a silent auction. Sold it for, I didn't really sell it. It just was donated to a very good buyer. Hopefully the person who has it. I actually said that all my model building and everything is backed up by a warranty, which is kind of weird for some people building models, but if anything should happen to like a plastic piece or something came off or they didn't know where to put it or how to fix it, I was able to take it back, repair it, and then give it back to the same person the same day. But for now, I'm actually just building a lot of cool stuff, and this retro van, as you will, is actually almost done. Yeah, the reason why I'm doing a candy color, like a candy color, is back in the 70s, that was the thing. But I'm not doing a, I'm not doing anything other than that, just making it a very good looking retro vehicle, and I'm sticking by it. Getting rid of some excess flash, however, is a suckfest. And as you know, like some of you people who've actually saw my, if any of you saw my recent video on the pound purries, this is how old school I am. But that's neither here or there. Now, I can actually start focusing on installing the Skylight, or the sunroof I should say. So I'm going to flip this bad boy over, and I'm going to start carefully, without trying to botch this up or any bad way or something. I am going to find the window, separate piece, which, don't know why NPC did it that way. They thought maybe because I was going to scratch up the glass or something, I don't know. So now I do it again with the part string. I snip, but normal. And Let's see. It looks like this is going to be more... Oh, outwards mount up. Okay, so this is going to be an outwards mount up. Well, that's good to know. So I don't have to do anything with it. Better than have it mounted outside than in. Now, well, those little tiny glasses. There's one here and one here. Now, this is going to be a disaster, but if I can do it without even gluing it, I think it'd be a godsend. So I'm going to try without gluing it and see how this works. I've never done it with not gluing anything in a model van before. But the worst thing I hate about this is that building these type of model vans. Now I'm going to show you how temperamental these model kits have gotten over the years. Considering the fact that this one, of course you can see that I'm wrestling with the window on this. Well, that's no big freaking whoopee deal. You know, no big deal here, but to be quite honest, van kits in the 70s, and especially this one, and this one's kind of a miserable kit to work with anyways. Anything that came out of like model companies that were like, who thought they were like cool to actually make these van kits, they must have been smoking something funny. Now I gotta put the other one on the other side. And that won't be so easy because the truth of the matter is, like I said, van kits, this one in general is a real piece of work. And hopefully I don't really, I just hope that this one will stay in and not come undone the moment I put it in. I'm hoping that this glass, this little piece, is not going to be a problem. Which shouldn't be. Now, where are you? God, I always hated doing these things. Of course, my dumbass, I had to take it on as a challenge, so I have to suck it up. Kind of like everything in my life is like, okay, yeah, you gotta do it, but you gotta suck it up. And if I can get this little piece into that area, then we are good. If not, then I'm fucked. Well, let's see here. Come on, get in there. Yeah, love NPC, but as I'm saying this sarcastically because it's really NPCs were nothing but a freaking miserable kits to work with. Not very... I always had issues with NPCs back years ago. You know, building certain kits that shouldn't be built. However, this one in general, I don't think it's going to go any further for the window. So I'm going to try doing this and hope for the best that the window doesn't pop out when I put this onto the frame, which isn't going to be cool. I think this is the two white dots up top are for the fun part. I get to marry the body to the freaking chassis. This is going to be so much fun. I don't know, I've never done this before, and I'm going to be very salty about this and saying that this is not going to turn out the way I thought it was going to do. But I'm not going to be a perfectionist about it because I know that this is just for not show. Oh boy, now here comes the fun part. I have to gently caress the stupid thing in, and this is why I didn't put anything else on, which is going to be very interesting. So... oh boy, this is going to be so much fun. I'm barely containing myself here. Getting that little radiator in. This is going to be fine. Let's see, now I have to gently get this in here. I'm going to grab a little bit of the X-Acto blade. Gotta press it in. Okay, I gotta be very careful. Ooh, okay, that's... Alright, that's going to be a tricky part, is getting the corner in. Gradually working it in without trying to destroy anything in the kit. Which is going to be kind of hard to do because certain parts of this kit aren't easy to put in. As you could tell, like, this is going in a little too easy. And there's always a catch though when you build something, and it's going to be too easy to go in, and there's always a little catch somewhere in the end of this whole fiasco. You don't want to force this floor into a model kit van because, one, it will be very ugly if you did, and two, you don't want to do that. Just kind of want to put it out there. If you ever decide to build an NPC van, please, 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 please take your time building this, because the hijacker kit, and when I'm saying like the actual kits for this were so god awful and atrocious, were because of the fact that the hijacker kit wasn't made to be this awful. And I don't know why the floor is bent. That should not have happened. So I'm going to go behind it and kind of... I probably should use the... Oh, there we go. Maybe if I get it like right there. Okay, there we go. I think I have it all together. A little awkward, but it'll do. Let's see what happens when I stand it up. Now, fun part is when I start standing it up, let's just hope that the hijacker van doesn't look like shit. As you can tell, I actually started to get that all into here. Fun part is, now we have the workable steering, and we have the doors. The sink, not the sink, but the actual CB I should put in there with the kit. I got the steering column in there, which is good. It sits in very nicely, and now I can focus on probably moving the doghouse a little bit there. There we go. That's where I want to keep the doghouse. So now we have that together. Now, this is going to be a different story on its own, which I'll do later. Right now, it's not the focus. But so far now, you have the actual full-blown of the hijacker. Here, let me turn the wheel a little bit. I'll show a little pivot action on the wheel. I don't know if you guys can see it, but... Okay, I just rotated the device, but it won't let me. This phone won't let me do it, but... Let me see if I can get it a little further back without, further ado. But when you really think about it, you turn it, it's got the real... And this is the one thing I love about this kit. It is turnable. Somehow I have to get the wheel well of the back a little further in, actually. But then again, any kit in the 70s was kind of always that way. So I gotta flip it over to make sure that the wheel wells are a little bit more into the up onto the body interior. Need to get it set in there all nicey nice, and I think we have it set to where now the interior is actually set in with the body, which is where I pretty much need it. As far as like the actual kit, when you really look at it, and you have the van kit sitting, one side's a little cockeyed here. Let me see what I can do about that. There we go. Not so as cockeyed as I would imagine anymore. See? And there you go. There's the bed in there. It's got a weasel in the other part of the interior frame, which I think can only go so far, so I'm not going to really force it. So I'm going to kind of leave, let's see if I can get that like grill there to come in there a little bit. And looks like it's fairly in there. Did what I can to actually not have the side windows pop out, but then again, this is not really going to be much of a model contest vehicle under those set guidelines. As you can tell, like I said, this is what your van's going to look. Move in, you pivot that way, and you slightly pivot that way, which is actually a workable thing, you know? And that's pretty much it. At least that's the hard part that's out of the way. And of course you got the doors. So doors are in there. And now I get to the fun part where I can actually now start worrying about not so much on the pieces, you know, from before. However, this type of van, now the fun part is I have to go in and I'm going to see how much I can get done. You know, as I know, so I get this in here and should be not much of an issue. I'm almost thinking about putting like 2 fingers in there and getting it where I want to sit it. I think I know how I'm going to do it too, which will look really freaking awesome. I just got to get to the stove and pull it back out. I'm going to apply some glue up on top behind the silver part of the sink. So it makes it look like there is something back there. And I'm going to zigzag a little bit on the sink. Kind of get enough, you know, not to over make it a glue bomb, but just enough to get it where I want it. Now this is the fun part. Now let's see if we can do this without trying. I could probably move it over just a hair, a little bit more, a little bit more. Just move it right there and use that. And there we go. And that's how you do it. I'll show you what it looks like. And there's the sink, right where I want it. So now we let that dry, and unfortunately, right now it's going to dry up, which is really good. Good. I'm like freaking stoked, happy. I'm finally getting this stupid kit together. Can't tell you how long this has been driving me nuts, and it has been a not so fun filled time with this kit, considering that this was a miserable as hell kit. This is the first and only time I'm building this stupid thing, which I'm not going any further with it. I'm done. I just don't want to build this thing anymore. I'm like really finished. I'm done with it. I'm done. No more. Oh, and interesting how the seats are actually... Oh, and they said these kits were miserable to work with. Holy moly. I just gotta get this one fixed a little bit here. I think I have... No, I have it all together. Never mind. It's as best I can get it. Now, for the fun part. We'll do the outer glass. Always remember, build your model kits with a lot of respect. Or try to anyways, and not try to get yourself, like, stuck or anything like that. Because people are like, oh my god, I got stuck. I don't know how to build my model kit. Like, time and patience and everything else come in all one. So now, I am going to start doing the Skylight. Getting that in there. You know, I know there's other people who are doing this kit. The reason why I'm doing a somewhat of a retro throwback, and what the hell is on here, I don't know. That was just a piece of metal. There's people who actually do retro throwbacks. This, on the other hand, is going to be more of what I remember when I was a kid. You know, of course, the 70s back then were everybody's thing. Of course, the window's not going to... The Skylight may not sit very well to it. However, I will probably do what I can to make it sit as nice as I can get it. The only problem I have with the Skylight kit is, one, my hand's hurting, which I messed up this morning, so I'm kind of dealing with a little bit of a soreness. So I'm going to do what I can to get this kit all set in on its own cord. But as far as everything else, well, it's not too bad. Considering from somebody like me who's from the 70s, who's nothing but a poster child of the 70s. Explain, hence the word my haircut, or my hairstyle is the 1970s look, is because I actually liked my haircut. And I was a big hippie back when I was a kid. That's how it was for everybody in my family. Some of us were just hippies, and some of us were just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But, and we just apply a little glue on the skylight. And a little bit there. Not too much, not a big dab of it. Nothing too heinous looking, nothing to make it look really like, oh my god, I just made it look like it was ugly. And, you know, I don't like to make anything that's hideously ugly. Or I try not to anyways. But then again, being brought up in that time frame was just something that, you know, anything and everything back in the 70s was like cool. But everything and anything now would be considered, oh, well, you just made something ugly. Which, you know, but then again, it is what it is. And we just gotta cut this off a little bit right here. And damn, this is like a really tough one to cut. I got it. I was able to cut it. So, I'm just gonna scrape away the excess flash a little bit on the top of the skylight. Or, not skylight, but it's the sunroof. And I'm gonna just trim. I'll just take a little bit of the sanding paper very carefully and just level it out a little bit. You know, at least, you know, we've got a little something. Normally, I would do this as like a full-on full, but I'm not going very nuts. As you can tell, as I'm just sanding down some unwanted stuff. Of course, I'm blowing on the glass again as like force of habit, which I've always done. So, kind of really just. I wish I had something here I can clean it with. Just clean it up a little bit. It's not like a really hard plastic, but these old vintage kits, you gotta love them. Gotta love them. Yeah, there we go. That's perfect. That's what we need. And we just look directly. I would actually paint that with a black, I would think. Let's see if it's even going to go in. Which, yeah, it's going to be a lot of persuasion that's going to have to go on there for a sec. Believe it or not. I would use actually a black for the trim, however, that's why it's not sitting. Got that little bit of a sprue going on there, which is really interesting if I can get it undone. But we just can't be choosers, and I don't want to go any further without damaging any more of the clear styrene, which I'm a little bummed about, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, see, I don't like that. They need to work on the tooling better on this kit. NPC, murderers of model building. They actually make a mockery of everything that's a model building NPC kit. So let's see if I can try that again. And it's kind of get it all in. Yeah, see, I gotta, you know what? The best I can do is I can just glue it in there into place. It'll be fine. So I'm gonna do that. Try to get this little bit of a thing going on here. If I can get the glue to cooperate with me. And hello. So I'm going to start just taking a little bit of glue if I can. Old Chinese trick, actually. Well, not really Chinese. If I can get the stupid thing from stop bleeding. God, I hate working with rubber cement sometimes. Rubber cement was men's best friend. Man's best friend back in the dark ages. Everybody used to get high off it like it was no tomorrow. I'll tell you that, though. That was some crazy shit. Especially when they made a new and improved formula. Everybody was getting high off that one. And the blue tube. Boy, was that one much more fun. That would melt plastic like it was no tomorrow. You really don't miss that. I mean, anybody in school used to inhale rubber cement. Yeah, that was like our trip back then. You wanted drugs? Yeah, well, go get a bottle of tube cement and you were good. That's all it was. I gotta get you set. Only 3 corners I need to do and that's it. Get in there. Come on, get in there. Best I can do because no thanks to NPC. Yeah, NPCs, the nightmares of dreams, and everything else that go along with it. Alright, now, gonna let that dry, let all that dry. We're gonna let it dry, 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 dry. And there we go. Now as you can tell, we're getting the 70s back, baby. Yeah. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. And love it. Lining up my doors here. And to the side, the backs I'll hold off. So I'm not ready to do the backs yet. We divide in Z contour. One of these was for the push. I have no idea which one was what. Nor do I, because I don't know. I gotta change the oil over. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, now let's see. It wasn't random tan I was using. Random tandem. No. Yeah, I know. Here we go. Leather for the first 2 doors. Yeah. I need to change is the dirty water that we have, or I have anyways. The exhaust is like the last thing I'm going to worry about. Now I get to do the fun part. Time to go and empty this out, and I'll be right back. Alright, now I'm back. Now, clean water, which is really good. Now that we have the van assembled, which I actually like. It's a shame that I had to freaking work with what I had, but you know, it is what it is. I get the interior together, get that straightened out. We'll put this away. Of course, I don't use the Rust-Oleum clear on any of my parts at this point. However, I will do this. I will start doing the painting on these set doors. Now the van's main embodiment is together. As long as my hand doesn't hurt. Oh God. I'm trying to be very careful right now because I'm still like a little uncomfortable, but I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there now. I get to use the same tan I used for the interior. As you know in my last other videos, things have been... Let me fix that window real quick. Uh-oh. Alright, well, I ain't gonna do much else with that. When in doubt, when you have a side window that comes undone, you fix it the best you can, but just run away after you touch it. Run away after you finish it, is all I'm saying. Just don't do very much by trying to act like a hero and trying to get it all perfect when you don't have to. So many people try that shit and it always backfires. So right now what I'm doing is actually painting the majority of this particular van, painting up the side doors a little bit, the interior side doors, just to start getting the color for it, which is really looking better and better and better. You know, each time I build it, I see exactly where those flaws are and I kind of go after them. I just build this for the fun of it, you know, nothing special, just using a, you know, interior tan. I used to use these colors back in the 70s, and I'm kind of like recapturing certain things. But I will show an interesting little trick I am going to do with the pillows, however. And I have a very nice color I'm going to use. And of course, custom vans were custom vans, so you could use any color you wanted. In my case, I have a very interesting color. And it might sound really interesting, but it is going to be very good. But for now, I am going to paint what I can for the doors. Getting that little bit of a touch up in there. Kind of getting some kind of possible work done here. Painting on the edges too to make sure I get all of it. Doing that. Yes, I know. Retros is like kind of the thing I like to do, but throwback kits are much more fun. Now I'm going to let this sit for a little bit so it actually dries. It won't take long, but I don't want to have to be stuck later on doing something I don't want to regret, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to grab a little bit more of this paint, and I'm just going to go and start painting on this door. And of course I get my finger, which is no surprise, which normally I tend to do when I paint something. So I'm going to just go like this. I'm just going to go teeny weeny bit right there. Just getting all the corners and all the little stuff here and there. Getting all of that. Trying to do the best I can so I have some kind of paint coverage on these side doors for the old 70s van I'm doing. And most people won't understand why I'm doing a throwback, but a throwback van was something I was dared to do. Well, it wasn't really dared, it was just something I dared myself to do. And as a curse, I am dealing with it. Which is really funny. Most times people don't get it, but you know, when you have a hankering for a throwback kit, you kind of get an idea. You know, it'd be kind of cool to actually go into do a throwback. And you just go like that, and you do the edges. Coloring. Yeah, see, I love this. I love the way this paint is working. I love how this is like beautifully working in its magic. Just to get that little throwback of the 70s right in there. And as you can tell, yes, it's very lovely. It's a shame because I don't really do a lot of, I don't usually do an hour long videos of me building up like kits, you know, throwbacks and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, you can't beat a throwback. It's one thing that will never die in me. It's like doing these old throwback kits and just enjoying it for the full of it. If it ain't a throwback, you're not experiencing past 70s. Because by then those kits were horrendous and horrific and all that fun stuff. Now we're going to let the doors sit, the paneling, so let them sit for a little bit. I soak the brush, and I'm soaking the brush in water, which is actually the same. It's acrylic paint, so it's not enamel, it's acrylic. And acrylic is nice because it dries really quick. It dries pretty freaking awesome. I'm just going to let that all sit, Skylight and all. Now, for that, yes, and we got that together. Now, I'm going to start working on the pillow, assembling the pillows, which is a key thing. In this little thing is, of course, on the parts tray, they give you like the little decorative pillows. Oh, wait a minute here. There's like 2 here. The other 2 over there. So, which means I have to go digging in for the other 2. In the parts box, somewhere in this mess. Where, I do not know where the other one is. That's the front push bar. Well, the CB is another thing. That one I can... Well, the CB's optional. I can always... I'm not really bothering with the CB in this one. I don't think that it's really necessary for a CB radio, especially this is not like really a show truck I'm going to be presenting in a model contest anytime soon. So it's my own personal version. Usually what I do is I take a little bit of the pillow, just kind of like going around very carefully, trying to go very carefully without taking any much detail out. I'm going to just kind of skim away on some of the excess styrene. The only difference is that, you know, kits I've actually built in the past, I've always either had the chance of doing, like, optional stuff. You know, like a CB radio here and there. There will be floodlights going on that, which is going to be really cool. I was actually debating on that whole process of, like, putting a TV in there, but I don't have the room. So I'm not going to do the TV. I mean, I could. I really want to be that ambitious enough, but then again, who in their right mind is going to want to be that ambitious to really go put a TV in there? Mine's a simple basic 70s van. Much as I tend to go squirrel a lot, but, you know, we cut off a little bit extra here. They give you a lot of optional parts if you want to make a different vehicle. If you're going to make a regular roadside van, you can. But I'm not doing that, and I'm just going to go and carefully, like I said, get all the, try not to destroy all the detail in the pillows. The pillows are going to be done a different color, and I have a very good color for that. Of course, it's a silly idea, but with this kind of van, it wouldn't surprise me if I did it. Just making sure I got all of the non-stuff. Get the pillows all straightened up. And I'd like to get to start gluing them. And I will. Move these off to the side next to the van. That's right there. What I'm going to do is now I am going to take the glue. A little bit dab. As you can watch what I'm doing. I'm actually going to take a little dab on the pillow. I better put this off to the side because this thing will drip kinda. It's like a runny nose. You don't want it to have it drip. So I'm going to take this half. Make sure it's all lined up and squared even. Maybe I should turn it the other way. Let me see if that's the way it should be going. Yes, that's where I should have it. Is So now I get to take the sandpaper and I'm gonna start doing some sanding. Just a little bit around the corners. Getting the unwanted stuff, like unwanted excess spray. Kind of getting a majority of the excess flash, and there's some, you're gonna have some rubber cement, but it's not gonna be anything good. But this is what the pillow will look like. The weird creation color of it is going to be a different, it's going to be a different color. I think I might go lilac, or I might go with a nice little purple. But then again, anything in the 70s was anything can go. It didn't matter. You know, it was a custom van of your own choosing, but having this built is something I like to do, and I will continue on to doing so. However, it doesn't really excuse the fact that I'm still, like, a nut job. Well, even if, like, if you know, lilac or purple, but there's been some really crazy colors. In order for me to do that, though, I need a very good color, a very good purple. It can't be just any more purple, but I will end up doing a, actually more, I'll be using nail polish purple, which, believe it or not, it just sounds like a silly idea, but nail polish purple would actually work very well. So, of course I get, like, hair in my face. So, I'll just take a little bit of hair, clean it off a little bit some, and go back to doing the tan for the van. Tan for the van. It rhymes, don't it? Yeah, so make sure that brush is nice and flat, like my head. Inside joke, inside voice that kind of randomly pops out as I say squirrel. But yeah, it's gonna be something. It's, you know, getting a little bit of touch up here and there, just doing some work, doing a little cleanup, getting that set, getting all of this. You know, it's kind of like you start doing something from the 70s, you have to stay with it. It's kind of like you're chasing your dream, you know, like a very good dream where you can see yourself doing this and more and more and more. And that's going to sit down. That's coat number 1 on that door. Now I got to do this one on coat number 1 on this door. I do 2 to 3 coats of this tan to get a very good 70s chill vibe out of this. They always say chill accent, which is always an interesting thing. However, any model builders who would see this differently would say, well, that's not the color I would do, you know, like make a throwback. However, you know, everybody's entitled to model build, game, whatever. And I do a little bit of both. However, I'm not going to, like, really say that, you know, I just do one thing, because then, you know, it's a lie. Now, with that being said, let's dip this in. We'll let that sit. We'll let the pillow sit. We'll let the sides of the door sit, and work on to the next thing. Which now, actually, no, the side mirrors I'm not going to do yet. I'm not doing any of that stuff yet. But everything else is everything else. Well, let's see. I think for now, that's going to be pretty much be it for the time being. Until otherwise, if you like what I've done and you like what I've been showing so far for 54 minutes on a video, please feel free to like and subscribe. in the next video segment, I will show you what exactly what I'm going to do with the little tiny rinky-dinky pillows, which are going to be done with a nice little purple. Like I said, it's not just going to be any purple. And by then, you'll see a second coat going onto the door. And by then, you'll see a complete full side of the doors in the van. However, for now, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like I said, if you happen to like, please subscribe, and you'll be seeing more of my videos. Hang loose. Bye-bye.